Welcome back to the Stormcrow Show. I'm Brady.
And I'm Josh. And today we are talking about the two most recent episodes of RWBY Volume 5, Episodes 3 and 4, that have shown up on YouTube, not Episode 5, which is still on first on Rooster Teeth's website. So, again, not to cause any spoilers, though maybe a lot of you have already seen it, so it's maybe not that big of a deal. But we do want to respect those who haven't seen it yet to not be spoiled. Plus, we have to catch up on Episodes 3 and 4.
Exactly.
So, the basic plan here is we're each going to discuss, just do a quick recap of an episode. Brady will do Episode 3, I'll do 4. And then we'll give our thoughts on it, or I should say primarily focusing on whoever talks about the episode, the recap, will give their thoughts on it more. So, Brady, give us Episode 3, recap and thoughts.
Yeah, so in Episode 3, it starts off with Gira going public with the information that they retrieved from Ilya's scroll back in Season 4.
Okay.
And they've discovered that the White Fang is planning on attacking Haven Academy.
Okay.
And it's kind of Gira's whole, call to arms for Menagerie to help defend Haven.
Right.
Saying that the White Fang doesn't speak for them, or at least that Splinter group doesn't speak for them.
Right.
It gets a little interesting because it gets interrupted by Ilya, and there's a whole bunch of tension building, and not a lot happens beyond that, other than the fact that, tension is built because Ilya interrupts his press conference.
Well, did he interrupt him, or was it specifically Blake about the background?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Gira was actually done, and she interrupted Blake, who never really got to share her story, so...
Sure.
Anyways, though, but the episode goes on to, flashing back to Haven with Crow, Oscar, / Ozpin now, and the four members of Team Junior, or Team Ranger, whichever you prefer.
Oh, boy.
Anyways, it's kind of interesting. They kind of go a little bit into how Ozpin was able to become a part of Oscar.
Okay.
And from there, they talk about their future plans. Ozpin seems to recognize that Leo, the headmaster of Haven, is not to be trusted.
Okay.
At least, as far as he can tell.
Right.
And Crow is going to go out on a recruiting mission to recruit more huntsmen to defend Haven.
Okay.
And Team Junior or Ranger, whichever, is going to spend some time training with Ozpin. So that's basically where Episode 3 leaves us.
Okay. And that's the episode where Crow, after he says he's going to get like a bunch of huntsmen, is when the table just randomly breaks.
Yeah.
His bad luck.
Yeah, his bad luck semblance is always kicking in. I thought this was a really good episode. In some ways, not a lot happened, but you kind of needed to set the stage.
Yeah.
For things that are sure to happen in Season 5 and possibly even beyond Season 5, or Volume 5, rather.
Sure.
One thing that I did want to note is that Crow says that he's going to go recruit huntsmen. Now, I'm really looking forward to this because I've always been a fan of fringe characters. Like, I'm usually not as thrilled by the main characters of a story. Like, I usually look for the fringe characters.
Okay.
They always seem somewhat cooler to me.
So you really like Zwei?
Well, he wasn't... he got a decent amount of screen time.
So is Crow.
Well, I wouldn't consider Crow a fringe character.
Oh, I thought you were referring to him as one. Okay, sorry.
No. So I'm really interested to see what Crow has, what kind of huntsman he knows and what we're going to be seeing from that.
Yeah.
On kind of a similar track, I do also expect that in Season 5, Team Sun will show up again. Now, obviously Sun himself is in Menagerie, but the rest of Team Sun is heading back to Haven.
Okay.
because Sun tells Blake that in season 4.
Right.
And
pardon me.
They were all originally from Haven Academy. So, and you and I were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but it seems like Team Sun probably, they don't know as much as some of the people, but they probably have a better idea of what's going on than the vast majority of people. So it would seem logical that if they were heading back from Haven, that they would probably check in with the school and see what's going on.
At a minimum, maybe they wouldn't go, like, if they wouldn't go home, they might try to, like, maybe at least stay near the school.
Yeah.
And maybe waiting for Sun to catch up with them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also probable that they've probably been in Haven for quite a few months at this point, considering they went by airship versus by foot.
True.
So, but anyways, not to ramble there, Josh, tell us about episode 4.
Well, episode 4 brings us primarily back to Yang, who has the guy that hit on her, that she hit back. She, convinces her to get her in contact with Raven. Of course, it's a trap. Not like the Admiral Akbar trap, just it's a trap. But
it's a trap!
Thank you, Brady. So, Yang, of course, gets to flex her muscles, or one muscle in her... Well, there's more. She has more than one muscle, I suppose. But in terms of arm muscles... There's more muscles in one arm than another. Anyways, she's able to... She just crushes her opponents. I do like the ending line where, the one bad guy who tricked her is like, when Raven finds out what happens, you're dead. Or something like that. And Yang's like, maybe, but I doubt it. I'm her daughter. I'm dead.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was super good.
Yeah, so she beats him up. Also, you'll notice that her fighting style, and I think we also discussed this beforehand, that her fighting style, she doesn't just charge straight in, because she dodges directly over her opponent, I think, in the initial attack, instead of just straight up, headlong into an attack that would possibly sever her arm. Probably not, but I mean, there's something there to just be said for that, right? Because she's showing a little more wisdom there. But she is also shaking. You see that both in episodes 3 and 4, or any episode she has a fight, her good arm is actually shaking a little bit. So she's still struggling with the PTSD to some extent. So that's when I say it's a good thing. It shows that she's still learning to deal with it. It's not something that was just shrugged off, because you can't shrug off something as traumatic as that and just I'm fine 6 months later.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen. You can grow from it. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean that everything's fine. Nothing ever happened. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, no. Rooster Teeth did a really good job of showing the PTSD in that instance.
The shaking there. There's also a scene, I think, of that when it cuts out back to our friends in Haven, where they're actually doing their training. And Oscar is doing hand-to-hand with Ruby, whom she easily bests, as she's at least somewhat experienced in that combat. Osmond takes over and completely just crushes her. I mean, not crushes, but deals a pretty harsh blow. Easily takes her out. And they just have a discussion about the fact that they're not all fully prepared. How did you get your semblance? It's kind of explained that way, And they explain what Ren's is, the idea that he can remain calm under extreme pressure or something like that. I liked Nora, that she was struck by lightning and didn't die. Just a typical Thursday or something like that, which is hilarious because, of course, Thursday comes from Thor, the god of thunder. So, of course, that's what she is supposed to be tied to. So, rather amusing there. And then it cuts, so then it cuts back to Yang meeting up with her mom. And, at this point, we were thinking, until what I'm about to explain here, it's interesting. We were all thinking, she's going to go see RWBY. She's going to go see RWBY. She's going to go see RWBY. Then she's like, I'm finding Raven. That's like the starting point of Yang in season 5. And throws everything off, especially episode 1. And we're all going like, wait, she's going to see Raven now? I thought you wanted to find Ruby. I thought she was doing the right thing. Well, it turns out she's finding Raven because Raven can teleport her to Crow, who's with Ruby. So she meets her mom for the first time, like face-to-face in conversation, really, in forever, it seems like. But it's fascinating to me because at this point she seems, I'm not going to say over her mom, but she recognizes that her mom is just not going to ever love her maybe the way that Raven ought to love her. And so she kind of closes, a story in her own life, at least for now, with Raven. And, of course, inadvertently she rescues Weiss. And we've kind of figured out who the Spring Maiden is based even on the intro, but it's more or less confirmed when she drops a lightning bolt out of midair.
Yeah.
And basically Raven does... I think she's going to bring them to the tribe because, quite simply, any fight will attract Grimm, which would not be good for her tribe. So she'd rather just have them leave quietly at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I do think it would be funny. Plot twist. Oh, send you back to Ty. That would actually be really like a jerk move, and it'd be but I mean, Rooster Teeth wouldn't do that because like that'd be a really hard plot twist to come back from.
Yeah. Also, it seems like Raven really wouldn't care.
Yeah. No, I just think it'd be funny.
Yeah. No, that's true. I said plot twist back to. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's worth noting, so of course there's always been this sort of some fan base that wants to ship, various characters. So everyone's going to probably take more out of the Yang and Weiss hugging each other more than really what's going on there. Granted, Rooster Teeth will do a wink and a nod every once in a while. I think that's to be acknowledged as well. But really, I mean, think about it. Just from a story perspective, if you were separated from one of your best friends for a long time, and last time you saw her, she had her arm lopped off, and then she saw you, or heard that you were just taken back to Atlas, and then you've gone through all this trying, stressful time wondering about, what about your other friends, what about your sister, how do I get out of my overbearing father, all that sort of stuff. And finally something good happens and you see one of your best friends and, yeah, I think you would hug really tightly too. And just not care. So, just because you're just good friends and you really do care about each other. So, I really would not rate a romantic relationship between the two. All that being said, I think this was a very good episode because it did a lot in a fairly short amount of time. It answered the Yang question very cleanly, but believable. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so I know I've been recapping quite a bit. Well, I guess I've made some comments about it too as we've gone through. So yeah, I guess that's all I have for now. I can't really comment, of course, on episode 5. But, yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts, Brady? Anything else we want to cover?
No, I said everything I wanted to say, so thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And, please leave us comments. Let us know if there's something else you want us to cover or if you want us to cover more RWBY. Let us know what's really important to you guys. In either case, have a wonderful week.